Coach, you got me?
Got you now, loud and clear.
Okay, cool. All right, just wanted to let everybody know that, I was thanking them and telling everybody that, thanking them for tuning in, and then also letting everyone know that whether you got a D1 school or a D3 school, NAIA, or no matter what, if you have signed on National Signing Day and you have now moved on to the next level of college football, it's a congratulations no matter what. So I just wanted to bring you in on that and let you reiterate that point to those who have signed, so that everybody who knows, or anybody who has signed, knows that it's a great opportunity and a blessing to be moving on to the next level.
Oh yes, the second, it's a privilege and honor for any of the football players to receive an offer to play at any level from NAIA to Power Four, and we just want to give out a great congrats to all of the guys that signed to play at the next level. It's a blessing, and we look forward to your a successful collegiate career.
Absolutely. And for those who have not signed, once again, life is not over. There are some steps that you can take for still continuing your collegiate career in athletics. Football specifically is what we're talking about. And the number one thing is begin to apply to the schools that you want to play for, because you're going to have to get accepted into these schools anyway. So if you get accepted and you let the coaches know and reach out and say, hey, I've been accepted to your university and I would also love an opportunity to play for your team, it then puts you in a different category versus doing nothing and just sitting back and waiting. So make sure that you now become a little bit more aggressive with your recruiting stage and with your recruiting efforts. Make sure you become a lot more aggressive with that. And yeah, that's really what I want to say. I don't want to make it long and drawn out, but just be aggressive and take control of your narrative. Coach, just a few words to those who haven't signed.
Those that haven't signed, don't give up. Continue to post your film. If you hadn't already done so, begin, as Coach just said, begin to apply for admission to the schools that you feel you can play at or be accepted as a student, because that's a plus in your cap. If you've already applied and been accepted through admissions as a student, there's a great opportunity that head coach will probably give you an opportunity to compete for a roster spot now that you're already admitted as a student, because
Yes.
You have to go through that process anyway. So that's a step forward. I recommend you to do that.
There are a lot of guys that have signed or kind of signed, or maybe there's still interest, that schools are still waiting to see if they get that final grade. And if you have it, and let's say there's just a fine line between you and another student, and that student is not 100% ready to go, you may actually get the nod because you are ready to go. So once again, please do not be down on yourself. Keep working, keep grinding, because there's still opportunity out there. And also, if your dream and your hope was D1 and that did not happen, broaden your perspective and allow yourself to be open to D2s, amongst the D2s, the HBCUs, NAIA, because the goal is ultimately to be able to get into the fraternity. Once you get in with the transfer portal and all those options that are available, when you get film, you can move around how you'd like. But the key is get in. And a lot of people do not get in. Less than, the statistics are now lower, but at a time, it was 3% move on that play high school football to college football. 3%. But now with the transfer portal, it's actually less. They're now talking about this percentage is roughly about 2 to 1.5% of the players move on that play high school ball. So if you're in that fraternity, keep your head up and keep grinding. So now we're going to get to our guest. And I got a profile to read for our guest. And the reason why I'm taking the time, usually I don't do this, but I am a huge advocate for respecting those that have paved the way in this game of football and who have seen the game transition from the beginning and where we're at now. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people try to make this game overly complicated, but you still got to be able to run, catch, throw, tackle. If you can't do those things, you can't play this game. Now, however, different coaches and they want to put different philosophies on it and want to sound like gurus and all that. The bottom line is no different than when this game was established. You have to be able to run, throw, catch, tackle. You can't do those things, you might as well forget it. So when we have somebody who has seen the transgressions of this game and has been through it, I want to take the time to properly introduce our guest by reading his profile. So Coach Joseph Lee Jr. is one of the most sought after coaching minds in the NFL today. Much like Mozart's revolutionary music, Coach Lee has done the same for football, becoming a living, breathing prodigy in the sport. His groundbreaking approach to coaching, known as the Coach Lee New Football Key System, has a unique ability to transform players, coaches, and entire teams in just 24 hours. Since 1971, Coach Lee's system has provided defensive players and coaches with clear, actionable keys that eliminate guesswork often involved in the game. His system gives players an edge by providing accurate, real-time run-pass key reads on every defensive down without requiring players to read the offensive backfield or the high-low hat actions of offensive linemen. This system also reveals a revolutionary method for defeating offensive play action and neutralizing a quarterback's 3-second play action window. For defensive backs, his one leg and ear hole coverage strategy offers a novel way to break down wide receivers, transforming the traditional methods of coverage into an almost intuitive skill. But what truly sets Coach Lee apart is how his system works without changing a team's existing defensive game plan or scheme. Instead, he focused on teaching technique and instilling a third eye in players and coaches. His methods bring out the inner potential of each individual, enabling them to read the game and make split decisions that were once considered impossible. Coach Lee's extraordinary vision, a result of being born with a brain that does not invert images. It allows him to see the world upside down and colorless. This unique perspective is the foundation of his innovative approach of coaching, where he observes things others can't. Through his one-of-a-kind body spot method and his ability to see inverse movements of players, Coach Lee unlocks dimensions in a game that most coaches and players have never thought possible. In a world where most coaches rely on traditional methods, Coach Lee's upside-down vision allows him to craft a system that pushes the boundaries of what's achievable in coaching football today. So I would like to bring in my guest, Mr. Coach Joseph Lee Jr. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm doing well, young coaches.
So, how's it going, Coach?
Hi there, young man.
we have been scheduling this interview since the beginning of the year, so I'm glad that we finally got you in here and we are able to have this conversation. And I don't like to hold people. I like to jump straight into it. When we talk about this this inverted vision that you have as a coach, can you explain that and explain how you overcame that obstacle with what some may figure it was something that you might not be able to overcome to play this game?
Well, basically, I didn't really find out anything about it until I was at least 25, 26 years old. I thought that was the way everything should be.
Okay.
Basically, I had a test, gave me all and everything a little bit different than other folks. And the doctors went and came up with the name and called it inverted vision. But I was having a tough time in school, which I wrote in my book. I happened to end up in the what we called then the opportunity class. Now we call it special ed. But that was because I was having such a hard time in school, reading and doing certain things. But no, I never found out about it until I was about 25 years old. About the vision that I was seeing it different. So what it does is everyone sees everything the way that I see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But what happens is your brain turns it around.
Okay.
Okay. What happens is my brain does not turn it around.
Okay.
So it continues to stay the way that the way that it is. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. So then now with having that vision being altered, how did you teach others to be able to see how you see, but then also use it as an advantage in coaching?
Well, the first thing that I understood was that I saw everything differently. So I seen the feet were in the air, heads were at the bottom,
Mm-hmm.
Type of thing. So the good part about it was that I had to make the young men to understand that the way that I saw it and how easy it was to change everything around.
Mm-hmm.
For the main reason is the first thing that I taught them was to understand the rule of the game.
Okay.
This is what the offense cannot do
Mm-hmm.
at the
Mhm.
snap of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the first thing that I started teaching. The
Mhm.
second thing was I had to teach the extended neutral zone. We have
Okay.
the neutral zone, but we have the extended neutral zone.
Okay.
And the reason why we're right now we're not talking defense, but we're talking the defense. Let's talk defensive backs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is the hardest position. That's the reason why I really went in on the defensive backs, because it's the hardest position to teach,
Mm-hmm.
because you're constantly moving backwards and basically you're playing the guessing game.
Yes.
So what I had them do first is we had to understand the rule of the game. This is what the offense cannot do at the snap of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
how do I get a perfect read, young coach,
Mm-hmm.
so that I can decipher run or pass?
Mm-hmm.
Because now we're still being taught today is to read the offensive lineman. If it's a high hat read, it's automatic pass read.
Right.
If it's a low hat read, then we have a run key read.
Correct.
Okay, if the hands are hard on the offensive lineman's hands are down hard, things like that. So I came up with which I want you to understand is not my system, it's God's system.
Yes,
The Lord
sir.
taught me the system. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That's the first thing I want you
Amen.
to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what it comes to me.
Yes,
and
sir.
I relate it. And God told me if you open your mouth, I'll make people understand.
All
So
right.
it's
Yes,
more or
sir.
less like, yeah. So it's more or less like what I taught next was the extended neutral zone. So we
Okay.
have the regular neutral zone. Then we have the extended neutral zone, which
Mhm.
consists from the heels of the nose tackle to the toes of the linebackers who
Mhm.
sit or stand at 5 yards.
Yes, sir.
The green grass that runs down in between is the extended neutral zone.
Yes, sir.
Then we teach the rule.
Mhm.
No interior lineman. Then we tell them who they are.
Mhm.
Guard, tackle, or center may
Mhm.
not cross into the extended neutral zone, and a
Mhm.
team or offense fall with the ball in the air.
Mhm.
So if the DB or the secondary, or we should say the two corners are sitting at 6 or 7 yards in zone, we
Mhm.
put our eyes squarely behind the nose tackle's heels.
Mhm.
We take our read steps and count.
Yes.
And our count is 1 and 2 and 3. But we say it
Mhm.
quicker. 1 and 2 and 3.
Mhm.
Again, 1 and 2 and 3.
Yes.
Does a different color show up beyond the nose tackle? If so, to the football.
Mhm.
If not, cover my man.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
if I get my count and I'm reading into the extended neutral zone, I'm not looking at the lineman and I'm not looking at the nose tackle.
Right.
I'm reading into the extended neutral zone.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
now I'm not subject to the big lie of play action.
Ah. Yes.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm not reading play action at all,
Mhm.
because by the
Mhm.
time I take my 3 read steps within 2 read steps, I know run a pass
Yes.
on every single down.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Now let me ask you a question.
Go
Let
ahead.
me. So
Go
then
ahead.
now,
I like
if
it.
we're looking from the standpoint of a DB, head placement in your stance is where, because different DB coaches teach it differently
Yes, they do.
of how
Yes,
to
they
train
do.
your eyes.
Yes, they
So
do.
now if
All the time.
I'm let's say I'm 6 by 1, 6 yards off,
Okay.
1 yard inside,
Yes, sir.
and where am I now placing my eyes when I get comfortable in my stance?
Okay, you can place your. I one of the things that I find out, the reason why you hear about training within 24 hours is because you never step on another coach's training or step on another coach.
Agreed.
What that means is I don't say, all right, well, I want your eyes here, or make sure their eyes are there. No, they can stand any way they want, as long as their first 3 read steps are into the extended neutral zone.
Okay.
You understand, coaches?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Am I
Yes,
okay
sir.
with you, coach? All right. Okay.
Yeah. You good?
Okay.
You good?
So if I'm standing straight, that's fine. If I'm turned inside, that's fine.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. As long as I have my leverage
Mm-hmm.
and I can get a true read. Because the first thing is, I do not want to be subject to play action.
Right.
I tell a lot of players, it starts from the Pop Warner or the little kids.
Mm-hmm.
You always hear all the time, read the quarterback's eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I tell them, the first thing is when you get to the big age in the NFL and the linemen stand up there all 6'6", 6'7", 6'5", this, that, how are you going to find little Dak Prescott? How are you going to, only thing you're going to see is the ball come out.
Right.
But at the lower levels, the kids see what? Chaos.
Yes.
They see chaos. They say to themselves, wow, Coach Block is getting his ass kicked. And somebody else say, wow, Coach Ken is really beating this man up.
Yeah.
Now, while I'm watching that, my feet are stopped.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So I'm going to lose in the route.
Right.
See?
Right.
So what you teach from the little ones on up, the little ones, when I start with their 5 years old, I teach colors.
Okay.
I don't come in with, well, the interior lineman and the guard and tackle, because the kid is like, what?
Right.
So we teach colors. So we say, little Johnny, what color do you have on? I have on red, Coach Lee. Little Michael, what color do you have on? I have on green.
Mm-hmm.
Does green cross over into the green grass of the extended neutral zone? And then you walk the grass. Say, gentlemen, this is the extended neutral zone.
Mm-hmm.
And you walk that.
Yeah.
With players is once they catch on, because I tell them to go home, draw a line right down the middle of the paper.
Mm-hmm.
The lineman will get into the zone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, every time you see a lineman, just one, into that zone, mark it.
Okay.
Every time you get it wrong, mark it. Now, what are we doing, gentlemen? We're training the players' eyes to slow down and see in what? In the heat of what? Battle.
Right.
Because in the heat of battle, we see chaos.
Yes.
See, we don't want to see chaos.
Mm-hmm.
We tell the safeties, gentlemen, I just told you the rule of the game. No interior lineman, right?
Right.
So now where do your linebackers sit? They sit in the extended neutral zone. Does a lineman fight with them? If so, within your 3 read steps, go to the football.
Mm-hmm.
If not, continue to pedal and cover.
Mm-hmm.
See, this way you don't. Some coaches are, wow, the ball's getting thrown over their head. They won't stay deep. Well, this is what you teach.
Mm-hmm.
You see, we're teaching inside of the game now. We're not taking anything away from the coaches. The coaches work hard and teach.
Mm-hmm.
In the NFL, my job was to make sure that the playbook was friendly to the players.
Mm-hmm.
Friendly through their what? Technique.
Mm-hmm.
See? That way you can't get released.
Right.
Because if you're playing true to your technique inside of the defensive playbook, the defensive coordinator has no reason to what? Let you go.
Right.
See?
So let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
At the DB spot, one of the
Yes,
things
sir.
that we know, especially for young players, is they feel that pressure of the receiver getting on top of them. So like, let's say they're taking their initial 3 read steps and they're reading, but they also feel that pressure. How do we get our mind and our feet on the same page to where we're not moving, we're not taking false steps?
Okay. The first thing is we get our count down, which I told you, 1 and 2 and 3, which equivalates to read step, pedal. 1 and 2 and 3, read step, pedal. The good part about it is that within 2 read steps, they'll know run or pass. See? Now, if they have a problem with that, then what we do, because we have so many RPO teams, we double count.
Okay.
And we
Okay.
tell the first set of numbers, your 1 and 2 and 3, is window dressing in the RPO.
Okay.
Second 1 and 2 and 3 is the true read. So it sounds like this. Set, go. 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3. See what I'm saying? First 1 and 2 and 3, we don't react to. The second 1 and 2 and 3 is the true play.
Right.
Okay. If the receiver is 6 or 7 yards away, he won't feel the receiver up on him before he gets his read. See, the first thing we want to do is get a true read. If we get a true read and not be subject to play action, now it might be. See, and now we now we have a problem.
Right. Right. So then, okay. So then, because we're talking ball, and I enjoy talking ball like this with So now here's my next question.
All right.
When we're seeing a lot of football now moving from left to right, like so we're the zone scheme steps and all that.
Right.
Can that not it won't it can that mess with, or what can the offense do to mess with the rule that we have as far as the second neutral zone? Like, so if we're working an outside zone looking to cut back backside A gap off of it, then everything's going to be flowing laterally for a while before we actually make that move. How do we adjust that vision?
Okay, very easy, very easy. You're seeing a lot. Excuse me. You see a lot.
Oh, Coach Lee, I lost you. We froze up. Coach Lee. Oh, hold on. There we go. All right, you're back. There we go.
So you see a sweep going the opposite way, backside of you.
Yes.
Have you ever seen corners just take off? Safeties just take off. Now they get beat coming back.
Yes.
That's because inside of the game, you must teach your numbers. So if I'm playing the left corner and things go to the right side, I say to myself 1 and 2 and 3, and I ask the question, is anything coming back at me?
Yeah.
See, what that does, it holds me to my job. It holds me to my responsibility. See, nothing. My job is to what? Nothing comes backside.
Yes.
The quarterback's not worried about me catching. My coach is not worried about me catching up with the play on the backside.
Correct.
He's worried about anything coming back.
Yes. So
what we got to do when things flow away, we have to ask the question and add that to the count.
Okay.
1 and 2 and 3. Is Coach Block got anything coming back at me? No. Yeah. Now chase the play.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
See, you must handle what? Your responsibility, your job. See, what happens is the offensive coordinator knows what the defense is teaching. See, defense hasn't changed in 1,000 years.
Right.
But offensive coordinator knows what the defense is doing. He knows what the coordinator and the coaches are teaching. Read the quarterback, read the high hat, low hat. So what have they done? They have created play action.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying? So that you'll stand still and look. So you'll react to different things. See? I always tell a lot of coaches that the quarterback, it has to be what? A great actor. He has to receive the Oscar. See? Because he's back there. He is what we call the trickster, the magic man. See? And he's telling the defense something that's not really happening for what? The first 3 steps of true football movement.
Right. Right. Right.
See what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
The true football movement in the heat of battle. So in the heat of battle, especially at the Pop Warner level, they react.
Yes.
See?
Yeah.
See? Like you say, you got the tight end. All right, I got the tight end. As soon as the ball snap, I see something else, I'm gone. Tight end wide open.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
See? And it happens in the NFL too.
Yes. So now when we're talking about players training right now, and one thing that I like to talk with coaches who have watched the game and seen it over years, you see more student athletes specialize versus playing multiple sports. how, when you've been in the game so long, what is your philosophy behind student athletes now just taking the time and getting a trainer and only focus on football versus guys who play multiple sports?
All right. Well, out here in California, you'll find that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes my problem with that is that you're playing basketball now,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're playing football
Mm-hmm.
right behind it, almost.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that if that's what I want to do, play football,
Mm-hmm.
I should be getting ready year round. I should be
Okay.
taking a boxing class for violent hands and feet.
Mm-hmm.
I should be running track to get quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I should be in 24-hour fitness and weight room to get stronger and bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I should concentrate on what I want, what I should do. But I
Yeah.
find that out here a lot, and sometimes I talk to people about, one day we're playing basketball, the next day we're playing football, the next day we're doing baseball. It's all right to be a multiplayer, but you have to basically concentrate on what you want to do. Now, in the South, they
Mm-hmm.
play football year round.
Yes.
I have friends in Pensacola. I have a gentleman in Pensacola. His name is Ladarian Clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And he runs the Youth Pro Bowl
Mm-hmm.
every year for kids. I work with him a lot, bringing kids from all over the country to play the
Mhm.
Youth Pro Bowl. These
Mhm.
kids are playing constantly year round. They're training constantly year round in football. So you see type of an edge.
Yes.
But out here, where I'm at, it's very rarely that happens. You get some,
Okay.
and then the thing I rile against sometimes is 7-on-7.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that kind of gets me too, because there's nothing wrong with 7-on-7, but are you training the players to run the right routes?
Right.
Are the receivers running the invisible route? Is the
Right.
quarterback throwing in the invisible route? Are the DBs covering one leg coverage, ear hole coverage,
Mhm.
leverages? Are they,
So you just dropped some terminology that I would like for you to explain for parents that may be watching and don't know. You said the invisible route, or throwing the invisible route, or running the invisible route. Could you break that down for those who may not know?
Well, on the offensive side of the ball, which a lot of times I teach that I don't teach too much on the offense. My key system, I tell a lot of people, when I wrote the book and came up with my key system, I had to counteract it with the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people, Coach Lee's just defense. Well, that's true. Sometimes I do a lot on offense. I just don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
But on offense, we have, excuse me, what we call the invisible route.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell DBs in the NFL and in the lower levels, every time a receiver chips his feet or beats his feet,
Mm-hmm.
something else is coming.
Okay.
Stop your feet, but slow your pedal.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Mhm.
It's just like if I come to visit you
Mhm.
and the other coach, and I say, okay, on the freeway, going to you, I'm flying.
Mm-hmm.
But when I get in your hometown, what must I do? I must slow down to find you. So the
Mhm.
same thing, when a receiver does something you don't understand, slow your feet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can catch up with the route. But the invisible route for receivers, they're beating their feet at the top of the route. They're chipping the routes.
Mm-hmm.
They're circling the routes, in which I know both of you have seen and know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I teach what we call the invisible route. And that is, you take a cone and you put the cone down.
Mm-hmm.
You walk 10 yards, because we base everything on the football field, 10 yards.
Yes, sir.
Every 10 yards is the first down.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that girl know I get going for it. All right. So yeah, I get to go. Okay. So we base everything on this. We base everything on 10 yards. Every 10 yards is the first down.
Yeah.
So we put the cone down and we walk 10 yards as a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And we put the cone down 10 yards away. Then we ask each person that can touch the football to run as hard as they can for 10 yards.
Mm-hmm.
You get that one cone, run as hard as you can past the next 10 yard cone. And the coach counts his steps, writes them down.
Mm-hmm.
The child keeps an eye on his steps, and he writes them down. So in other words, in 4 steps, coach, so that the quarterbacks know what the receivers run.
Mm-hmm.
Now, instead of writing a 7 route, 6 route, 9 route, we tell the players to run their routes in their steps.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, Coach Block, give me a 6.
Uh-oh. Hold on, Coach. We lost you for a quick second. I know you're still there. Just a little, I guess it's a little lag. Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold on. There we go. Now you're back. All right, go ahead.
So we say, Coach Block, give me a 4-step out.
Yes.
Coach Ken, give me a 6-step go. 6-step go. So in other words, if you run 10 yards in 5 steps, I say to you, you ran 5 steps for a first down.
Mm-hmm.
What's 10 steps? 2 first downs, Coach Lee. What's
Mm-hmm.
15 steps? 3 first downs, Coach Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Now what we have done is we have eliminated you reading the sticks.
Mm-hmm.
We have eliminated that.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're running in our steps. So now the DB has nothing to read.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because now you're not chipping your steps. You know how many yards it takes you to run 10 yourself, because some kids are bigger than others. Little kids run 7 steps. Big
Correct.
kids run 4 and 5 steps.
Mm-hmm.
So now in the huddle, the quarterback can say to it in the huddle, instead of him running a 7 route, a 6 route, say coach run 6, give me a 6-step out. John, give me a 4-step stop. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Now the quarterback knows the steps.
Yes.
And the receiver knows the step. So what you do is you force the DB to read the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because he's not used to you chipping and doing things. So now when he reads the quarterback, you become invisible because your eyes are off the quarterback.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
See, I should say the DB's eyes are on the quarterback.
Yeah.
So now the receiver becomes open.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying?
Got you.
And that normally happens. That's what normally happens. These linebackers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
On my first 2 steps, what did the linebacker, which is closest to me, do? Did he stay where he was at? Did he drop? Or did he disappear?
Mm-hmm.
If he disappeared, what am I going to do? I'm going to cut my route because he's coming.
Mm-hmm.
If he widens out, then I'm going to act accordingly.
Now, Coach.
Yes, go ahead.
We are talking, like, I wish I could show you. I got goosebumps because I really enjoy talking ball with guys who are meticulous in the details. But I'm going to ask you a question based upon what we see now on the high school and college levels. Do you see the same meticulous detail overall, or is that what's specifically now going to separate you when we start talking about the guys that we see on the next level playing, either going from high school to college to pros? Those meticulous details, is that what's going to separate you now, or are we glancing over those?
Well, in some colleges, at the college level, they are teaching. All right, they are teaching. Very few Pop Warner teaches. High school, at the high school level, your freshman year, you're supposed to learn. See, Pop Warner is supposed to teach you what that high school wants you to do when you get there. Understand what I'm saying? But that's not happening. That's not happening. They're just playing football. And kids have great talent. Some are better than others. In high school, you're more or less, if you're a big kid with a little talent, they'll bring you up. But normally, it's okay, he's a freshman, he plays freshman. He's JV, he plays JV. See? Now, the kids are, when they go to college, that's the reason why a lot of kids sit down for the first 2 years. Because they come in to the college, and now they have to catch up to what the college is doing and what the kids that have already been there. See, if you send a child in there already ready, then that child has a fighting chance to crack and get to play. See, I always say, you're not going to college to sit down.
Right. Right.
Right.
When I'm training
Absolutely.
a player, I don't. Go ahead, young coach. Go ahead, coach. Would you say?
No. Go ahead. I'm just agreeing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
don't send. I never, ever want to send a child to college to sit down.
Mhm.
When the parents, and very rarely now, I not on the field all the time. I'm retired after 53 years, but I will do Zoom with players and if
Mhm.
coaches. And very rarely coaches call me. I wish that this show would make coaches. Hey, Coach Lee, come here, call me up. Yeah. I want coaches to call me and ask questions
Yes.
and write to me. But
Right.
the deal is that when they come out of high school, a lot of time the players aren't ready because they just played high school. And I hate to say it, not all coaches, but a lot of coaches are wanting to win for the coaches. They're not really prepared to get the child ready.
Okay.
Okay. I
Okay.
find that out here. I find that out here a lot. It's just I won a CIF championship. I won a championship. I did this
Right.
and that. Instead of getting the child ready to play.
Yes.
Okay, so at the lower levels, I say your at your Pop Warner level is basically the same thing. You have to understand that every child that puts on a pad envisions himself in the National Football League.
Absolutely. That's their dream.
That's their
Yes.
dream, and they vision themselves there.
Yes.
That's the thing that I say. Have bring them into the classroom. Come on, bring your hamburgers over and put them in the classroom. Okay, go to the whiteboard. I tell coaches all the time, but they don't do it. I say, well, Coach Lee, how can we learn your key system? Because we know you're just talking in secondary, but you got a whole key system, which I do. I say, while they're in there lifting weights, have them come to the whiteboard.
Yeah.
Talk to them in the thing. Get them to hear extended neutral zone. Get them to hear the count. Get them used to it. Like when you're dealing with RPOs, we double count. Comes to me and say, Coach Lee, I saw what you told me to see. I saw the lineman into the neutral zone, extended neutral zone, not neutral zone, but extended neutral zone, and they still threw the football. I thought you told me they couldn't throw. Then you look at them and say, all right, son, next time double count. See? Now that child has heard that.
Right. Right.
So he knows, or you can say to a team, young men, Coach Block, Coach Ken, this week we're playing an RPO team, Philadelphia Eagles. Everything you do is double count. See?
Yes.
So they've heard these things, but we're not preparing the young ones to play at the next level. They're getting their grades. So I feel as though sometimes coaches let them down. And they let them down because our kids are really not being trained. As I told you earlier, the defense never changes. Then we get coaches that say, Coach Lee, Coach Block and Coach Ken is double teaming me. What can I do? Do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
What? Do what I tell you to do.
Yeah.
They failed to realize that child is being double teamed. That child is being cut block. Not Coach Lee standing up on the sideline, walking up and down.
Right.
Looking good, dressed cool. You understand what I'm saying? All black on. You understand what I'm saying? You got to be able to tell that child something.
Yeah.
And another thing that gets me is when a child can't talk to his coach.
Okay.
My child is supposed to say, all right, son, what's going on? Well, coach is this and that, and they're doing this and doing that. Well, how can I do it? Okay, well, let's do this.
Right.
Not do what I tell you to do.
Right. And to that point, one of the young men that I train, I specifically told him, as we continue to train, I need you to talk football to me.
Yes, sir.
Because I'm going to talk football to you. So don't point and say over there. That over there has a name. Is that the hook curl zone? Are we talking about the flats? Talk to me in football, because if you want to be able to adjust faster in the game, you have to be able to communicate with your coach about what's going on the field. So I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I think a lot of people glance over coach to player communication in the game and the the immediate response you can get when you and I are speaking the same language, no different than English, Spanish, or anything like that.
Well, that's true. And you can't raise your voice to a child. How can I holler and scream when I don't teach? You understand what I'm saying? And I always thought that,
that's a great point.
Well, it's the truth.
Yeah.
Back when I first started in the 70s, when I lost a game, my players were scared to come to practice on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, Coach Lee, man. Oh, boy, I be the only walking around, boy. You you just better come to practice. And the kids knew, but it dawned on me one day, God told me, say, Coach, why are you getting upset, hollering, screaming at the kids?
Yeah.
When you don't teach them.
Right.
So I started saying, well, you know what? If I don't teach the kids, you don't have that respect from that child to raise your voice.
Right.
But when you teach and you go all out and teach everything that we teach running backs. We taught when the teams come out and spread on you, double wide and go to. I put it like this to him. I say, when your dad is driving the car and he passes the car on the left-hand side, that is the B lane.
Yes.
That is the B lane. That is the DB's me lane. The inside lane to the second receiver is the U lane.
Yeah.
And the inside the receiver to the linebacker covering the slot, if so, is the U lane.
Yeah.
So now when they come, you play where? You play in the me lane all the way to the end zone. You play in the U lane, and you play in the ball lane.
Yeah.
So now when kids come and they line up like that, we say, me, you. And other teams is like, what are they saying? Why are they saying that? What we have done is we have told them, the kids, what lanes they're going to play in. So now you can't cross, you can't run, picks. You can't do none of that.
Right.
I had a group of kids that came up and said, Coach, we love McDonald's, and we made up something in school. Can we say it on the field? I said, you can say anything you want as long as you don't come out of your keys. When kids were coming in motion stuff, they was hollering croutons. And one said, I got French fries here, and said, Big Mac over there. Parents was like, what is going on out there?
Right.
Why are the kids? But see, they were talking about what they understood, and then they had the insight to do what they wanted to do. But if you said, no, you do what I tell you, stay in them keys. You understand what I'm saying? Now we have a problem. The same in the NFL. With Richard Sherman and guys like that. It was a fight. But as soon as they start seeing the extended neutral zone and start seeing little things, they say, oh, man, OG, you got something going on there. You understand what I'm saying? You can see the play before it originates in the offensive backfield. You see run a pass before the offensive line, before the running back touches the football.
Right. So then let me ask you this, Coach. Okay. What do we take from the game when it was more physical, but then not even what do we take? How can we still play the game physical? I'll ask it that way, because this is a physical game. If you don't go at it 100%, you can get hurt. But we see so much protection for the offensive side of the game, and you coming from when the game was downright physical, even dirty at sometimes. Right. But how do we now teach our players to have that same level of aggression in a time when they are trying to reduce injuries to the head, et cetera, et cetera? How do we do that? How do we still keep that same level of aggression to this game?
Well, to answer that question, youngster, we have to play with low eyes. First thing is that we have to play with low eyes. We have to change up some of our technique. In other words, when the DB is running beside his receiver, what are they doing? They're looking down at the hip. Right. And this is still being taught. We have to read into the ear hole. We run and chase. We run with the receiver in his ear. And in other words, I tell them, if the ear runs to come back, you run to come back. If the ear runs the out and up, you run the out and up. If the ear runs to stop, you run to stop. So in other words, as I'm running and I'm reading the ear, if I see the other ear come back to me, now I know it's a comeback. You understand what I'm saying? I don't read his hips. Just like they say, look at the weight, look at the
waistline.
Waistline. That's how you get beat.
Okay.
The whole waistline moves, the whole thing moves.
Mhm.
So that makes you move.
Mhm.
If my leverage is on the outside, I'm reading the thigh pad on that leg on the outside. So in other words, when that thigh pad moves, I say yes, cover.
Mhm.
Inside leg, don't cover. Yes, cover. Don't cover. Now, what
Mhm.
does that do for me? It
Mhm.
keeps me on that leg that I supposed to play on, and where? In the defensive playbook, so it makes who? The defensive coordinator happy.
Mhm.
So what happens? I don't get released
Right.
because I'm
Right.
doing whatever he said in the defensive playbook. I
Yeah.
have what we call one leg coverage.
Okay.
See?
Mhm.
And let him
Mhm.
chip down. It doesn't matter if he chips his feet or does
Mhm.
all of that because
Mhm.
I'm still reading the one leg.
Mhm.
When he breaks my cushion, I go to the ear.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. So then now with these techniques now, because we're seeing a lot of guys who, if it's not happening for them right away, they're either transferring, and this happens in high school. This happens now. We see with the transfer portal. If it doesn't click for them right away, they're gone. They're not necessarily trusting the process as much. What is your advice to these guys where you may be looking at film saying, "Hey, man, it's a little bit of you. The coach isn't putting you in because your technique." How do you get that through to these young guys who think that this game should be just a microwave? It should just work for me right now, microwave type of game.
Like this. Once they see my technique,
Mm-hmm.
they come out of that.
Okay.
Okay, you know why? Because the logic in it.
Okay.
See, what you have to do is you have to teach logic.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't teach it logical,
Mm-hmm.
these young men are not going to, stay with you.
Right.
I get some players, oh man, you know one thing, Coach Lee, I've been playing for 10 years. That's how I make my money. I support my family. I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Boom, touchdown. Boom, touchdown. Boom, over here. Up. The next thing you know, hey, Coach, can I talk to you for a minute? Yeah, look here. That thing you was talking about. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, the deal is I teach them logically. I tell them the receiver has but one leg. Your playbook says inside leverage. If you're in cover 3, you're on the inside no matter what. If you're in cover 2, you have help deep. See, you don't have no help deep on cover 3. You understand? You have no help. So, excuse me, that's the same thing I tell the slot. If the slot the closest tackle to me has 2 jobs. Pass block or run block. Does he kick step? He'll kick.
Uh-oh, you froze up a little bit, Coach. Hold on one second. You froze up. Still with me?
Okay, I'm saying if you're on the slot,
yeah,
you see in the NFL, what are they doing? Looking straight at the slot.
Yeah.
Now they don't see anything run. They don't see anything else but the slot. Read the tackle on your first slide step. If you're 6 yards off the slot, look straight at the hard tackle. Why? Because the tackle has what? 2 jobs. Pass block or run block. If you kick step, now you know what to do with the slot.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So it's logical things. Logical things. You understand what I'm saying? The Dallas Cowboys has the biggest line in the NFL. So why am I going to try to find Dak Prescott? By the time I find him, the ball zipped through. The ball comes through with air on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just little things to get you out of camp. That's their job, is to get you out of camp, sir. So my job was to make sure you stay in camp. This is what coaches hired me for, to make sure you stay in camp. Their job is to make sure they cut down as many players as they can. Some of these colleges are the same way. You coaches know. You got 90 players showing up.
Right.
Close to 100 players. You understand what I'm saying? You got kids out here right now. I'm going to LSU. I'm going to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I'm going to whoop the whoop. You understand what I'm saying? And then you look at them, you look at their film and say, Lord. You understand what I'm saying? You know? But what gets me the most is
froze up a little bit, Coach. Hold on. Still with you though. Hold on. Froze up.
Yeah, you would think. I was
There we go.
saying,
Uh-huh.
I live here, right
Mhm.
here in San Diego.
Okay.
And a lot of times when I first moved out here, I was trying to teach a lot, and I try to do that in San Diego. But then you get a lot of, oh, we don't teach like that. I mean, they like it, but then they'll go back to the old stuff because
Mhm.
that's not what they do.
Right.
But we have
Right.
a lot of people here. They don't seek out the best. That's what I'm
Mhm.
saying.
Okay.
That type
Okay.
of thing. You know, you
Yeah.
want your child to have the best. But before you do that, you'll send your child to a camp where they just backpedal, turn, and run. They
Right.
don't teach anything inside of the game, young coaches.
Right. Right.
See, and I'd be right here sometime and I think to myself, oh, you know, all you have to do is make a phone call. You know,
Right.
all you have to do is make a phone call.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
they'll come, some parents will come, and I'll show them the extended neutral zone for their players,
Mm-hmm.
and they won't come no more. And I said to
Mm.
myself, is that all? That's not all. You know.
So then let me ask you, like, so
Okay.
in your talk about your book, talk about how you go through this in phases, because like you said, some people think, oh, I got it, and you're like, nah, that was just a chocolate chip. You ain't even get the whole cookie yet.
Mhm.
So talk about how you teach this in phases.
Okay, well, the first thing I do is when I first wrote the book, I was going to write something else, and I said, well, you know, DBs are having a hard time. So I
Mhm.
wrote the book, the ultimate, the blueprint for the
Mhm.
ultimate defensive back.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote that first, strictly for the defensive backs.
Mhm.
The other book that I wrote right now is for my whole key system, and it's called The Book Behind the Door.
Okay.
In other words, you know, you're hiding it behind the door.
Mhm.
But what I do is my first opening salvo.
Mhm.
So say you come to me today, my first opening salvo is to teach you the rules. So a lot of people don't know the rules of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I teach you the rules of the game. I explain to you what the offense cannot do after the snap of the ball in game time or under the heat of battle.
Yes.
Okay. Then the next thing I teach is the rules
Mm-hmm.
of the game. What they can't do, why they can't get into the extended zone, who can touch the ball, who can't touch the ball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You'll find out a lot of times the kids don't know cover 3, cover 2, their responsibilities.
Yes.
So the first thing I do sometime with kids when they come to my house,
Mm-hmm.
I take them into the garage where I have the giant grease board. I have a big giant grease board in my garage. Got one in my room too, but my wife let me set up the garage as and I got turf in there with lines, and I built a football field in my yard.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, so I could teach.
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I do is I put them on the whiteboard and I say, "Young man, show me cover 3."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Write down, show me cover 3, show me cover 2. Then
Mhm.
if some of them can, but a lot of them can't. And then I tell them their responsibilities
Mm-hmm.
in that coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then from there, we start teaching them what they can do after they see the run pass key or the true run pass key.
Okay.
Then we break down the number system to them.
Mm-hmm.
We tell them, because a lot of kids say, okay, I'm watching the lineman, I'm watching quarterback, I'm not supposed to, but how long? Or watching the zone coach, how long should my eyes be there?
Right.
How long? Now we want you to understand 1 and 2 and 3. And I say to them, say it. They say 1 and 2 and 3. I say faster. They go 1 and 2 and 3. I say faster than that.
Mhm.
1 and 2 and 3. I say, can you say it a little quicker? 1 and 2 and 3. I say, good. Now you said the equivalent of read, step, pedal.
Yeah.
Set, go, read, step, pedal. See?
Mm-hmm.
So now I tell them your read steps are like in school. Little Johnny, can you open the book and read page 1 or read the paragraph on page 2?
Mm-hmm.
Same in football.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You must get read steps before you can react to anything else.
Right.
See,
Right.
we want to teach them as though they feel as though they're in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to come and say, okay, you know, I'm going to see this guy. He used to be an NFL coach. You get in there and say something that's what they already know. You
Yeah.
understand? You want to be able to take that child. Wow, I'm hearing something I've never heard before. Now
Right.
you got him. Now you
Yeah.
got him. See?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then you say, okay, these numbers right here in the heat of battle. Then you show him the extended neutral zone. You put a cone down and you put a dummy down. And then you put another dummy 4 yards away. And you say, son, I'm walking in between this grass. This is the extended neutral zone. In high school with players, you say, little Johnny, take a knee. Little Michael, you take a knee across from him. Then you walk 5 yards and have Aaron take a knee. And then you say, you go back to the guy that's on his knee as a center, you say, I want you to walk through. And you say, set, go. And they walk into the, say, what you got there? What is that? That's a run, coach. Why? Because he's in that green grass. Now, then you go back again and you do this. Then the third time you say, stand still. What is this, coach? What is this, guys? Pass. Why? Nobody's there.
Yeah.
Now you make him trot into it. Now, once he trots into it, you say it again. Now you make the whole sideline count. 1 and 2 and 3. What is that? 1 and 2 and 3. What do you got? Run, coach. Say it again. Run, coach. Now you see what I'm saying? You're teaching in a progression. And this is all in a 2 hour, an hour or 20-minute time second, because most of the time your coach will get 20 minutes to teach.
Right.
You know, single. So you're doing this that quick. See? Now your players are catching on.
Yeah, that's a lot of information in 20 minutes too. It's a lot.
Yeah. But you're doing it with them. See, kids are more visual than they are. They read all day in school, but boy, if they can see it walking. Right. And now you're showing them colors. Yeah. Because I tell them sometimes put on one of those jackets. What color is that jacket? Red. What color you got on? White. Does red show up here? Yeah. Every time red shows up in there, it don't have to be a lot, gentlemen. Just one red is an offensive lineman. See, because your best thing, I tell a lot of coaches and players, the best, when I was coaching, the best thing I could hear was, well, you know, Coach Block been coaching offensive line 15 years. Really? I love it. You know why I love it? Because if Coach Block tell them linemen to do something, they going to do it.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. The first time one of them linemen get in the zone blocking, I know you're telling my team. When we used to go out on the field, instead of warming up, we used to go to the 50-yard line and get on the knee and watch the other team warm up so we could time their linemen into the zone.
Okay.
See, the whole defense time the linemen. Same with watching film. You know, some players, even in the NFL, they're up all night watching like this game coming up, which is number 11 on the Eagles. I can't think of his man's name. But
that's not Smith. Smith is number 6. Devontae, not Adams. What's his name?
He's a real beast.
Yes, I got it.
Well, anyway, you get DB stay up all night watching film. Lord Jesus, oh Lord, he's going, oh my Father, he's going, you understand? Instead of them just watching how quick the line
AJ Brown.
And the DBs are up all night. The defensive coordinator is up all night. You know, Spagnuolo, even though he's great, he's still up all night. But the deal is, if they would just watch how quick the linemen get into the zone, because the RPOs won't work if the linemen are into the zone. Right. You understand what I'm saying? The RPO won't work. So once we time the linemen, and now if the RPO team with Philadelphia, I would double count everything and just stay at home.
So let me ask you this.
All right.
Who do you see that has this technique down and you can actually give, like, because, you know, kids like to look up to their idols in the NFL. So who would you tell a young man to study that you're watching currently playing in the game?
Oh, okay. Well, we have a couple of young men. What's that boy's name? Oh my goodness! I can't think of his name right now, but I know another one is Daryl Hall, young Hall that plays with the Cardinals. Yeah, he's one of them. Sultan, is that gentleman's name? Sultan, I think it is. He's another one. Yeah, he's another one. Quite a few of the Ravens defense. The gentleman that's taken over from Detroit. Detroit plays a lot of my key system. Okay, they play a lot of it. He's going now to I think it's to the Jets, isn't it? Yeah. So you may see a lot of that. This last year right here, Colorado. University.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because what I did was I just couldn't take it any longer. And I called the Colorado College every day until somebody say something to me. Because I know Coach Prime didn't know me.
Right.
But I bug, So
yeah.
So and I do that a lot. I do that a lot. And you got quite a few on defense. You have defensive linemen are the same way, because we taught the whole defense.
Okay. So then now, before we get out of here, how can somebody get in contact, or what is the best way for someone to get in contact with you? And then also for me personally, and I know also with Coach Brooks, we want to make sure that we have you here regularly, because talking ball is something that I think a lot of young athletes need to hear more of. They see it, and like you said, people talk at them versus talking with them. But I do feel as though athletes need to hear people and see people actually talking football and talking this sport. But how can someone get in contact with you if they want to talk directly with you?
Well, as you know, I'm on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I'm on my messenger page.
Mm-hmm.
You can Google me.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll see my number there.
Okay.
I just write to me. I love to talk to anyone that wants to know. I'm saying it now. Anyone that wants to know, I'm not trying to change your defensive scheme. My thing is that you'll take something that I say and enhance your own game. But if not, you want to know more, I'm always here. But like I said, I'm on Google. I'm on what you call it? What's that one? Well, I'm on most of the
social media.
Most of the social media.
Okay.
Most of the platforms.
Great. Well, I appreciate you being a part, Coach. I kind of took over. Coach Brooks, you got anything that you want to say in the closing pieces?
Well, Coach Lee was glad to finally have you on the show, and it was an honor to listen to you talk ball during the show. We want to have you back on a regular basis throughout the year of 2025. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, definitely. And
greatly appreciate it.
I would like to, if we can, and I'll make sure I either send you a message on Instagram, or I'll get to you through Coach. But I would like to see, after we watch the Super Bowl, to see your point of view from a coaching standpoint.
I would love it.
Because, we all know that this game is going to be about adjustments and who can make them the quickest and most efficient. So I would like to get your opinion of what we saw and be able to talk some ball with you that way.
And I would love that.
All right, great. Well, then, for those who, once again, this is your first time tuning in, Coach Brooks and I, we do this every 2 weeks. So we won't see you next week, but we will see you the following. So today is the 8th. So we'll see you on the 22nd, where we'll have another coach. And we're going to get a couple high school highlight guys in here as well. We can sit down and discuss some more with you and the process. If you need to get in contact with me, highlight tapes, any of that information that you want us to review, you can hit me up. All my social media channels are Coach Block and Coach Brooks. Go ahead and give your social media channels and contact information as well.
You can reach me on Facebook, Twitter. I have Messenger on both Facebook and Twitter. I think you have my mobile number. You can send me a message or call, and anything recruiting related, football related, we're here to help you. So please reach out.
All right. And the last thing I'll say is nobody has the same recruiting pathway. So please don't compare, just compete. And
absolutely.
And make sure you realize that your journey is not the next person's journey, but don't stare at somebody else's pathway and be envious. Focus on your pathway and work every connection that you have. And you have three men right here on this podcast right now that are willing to help you. So reach out so that we can assist you in the pursuit of your dreams. So with that being said, I'm going to close it. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being a part, Coach Lee.
Thank you.
We'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
All right.